There we go. Okay, so new section. Folks, we were just talking about AI in case you didn't join us for that part of the discussion. And we were saying, you know what? Smart bidding, it's great. AI is great, but there are some flaws in it. Inherent flaws. It's going to come with biases. Google has a reason that they want you to spend more, make investors happy every quarter, for example, mostly. But what about when you start a new campaign? Should we trust the smart bidding? It sounds so great. I get emails from Google all the time. My Google rep, let me tell you about my Google rep. This
Yeah.
guy knows everything and he's free, which is just mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
And he keeps telling me, you know what? I know you've been thinking about demand gen. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and kick it off. Do smart bidding. Don't worry about any of those like maximize clicks kind of things. You don't need that kind of
You're an
control.
idiot,
We've got
Corey.
it for
You're
you.
an idiot. You're a fool. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Just
what
be
are you
free. Just be
thinking?
cool, man. Just be
Just
cool.
do it. Be cool. Join the smart bidding
Yeah.
revolution. And you know what? That's not usually the advice that I would give for a new campaign.
Yeah.
So, Michael, just to kick it off, what are your just initial thoughts? You're thinking about launching a new campaign. Let's say it's a search campaign specifically. Are you usually going to just trust smart bidding in most cases, or in most cases, do you lean a little bit more on the manual side? Why or why not?
Beautiful. So, um, yeah, once again, coming back to baseline context is, as you probably know this as I do as well, the data is that smart bidding for search campaigns comes from the campaign level, not the account level.
It does seem to be that way. Yeah, even though they say else otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah, but we both obviously know that. I wouldn't have asked you that question 5 minutes before this call. And I think, and this is where we just have the real conversation is, as we're talking about the AI stuff, like the smart bidding is powerful when it is loaded up with very, very simple, clear, outcome-based data. Even as you said, Mike, we were chatting before, micro conversions can be really good outcome-based data, but kind of like nearly an outcome, but it's moving in the forward direction.
Yep.
There's so much narrative around smart bidding, and it actually works. So it's not like poo-pooing it, but it's
No.
it's not that you use it all the time. It's that you've got to know when to use it. And I've said this, I'll say this probably, like I say this all the time. People who watch this probably know this, but I always recommend at the start, the two things. Google Ads success doesn't come from doing the right things. It comes from not doing the wrong things. And doing the wrong things really come in search campaigns. Wrong keywords. So basically, how do you resolve that? Good keyword selection and a strong negative keyword list. And then number two is settings. And settings is when we talk about things like bidding models, other things like display network, all of that stuff. When starting off a new campaign, I really think it's super important to have very tight control over your keyword selection, and then doing aggressive negative keyword cleanups daily. But what that means is, because there's so much traffic that comes through at the start, you can't control the quality because you can't predict the future. I always recommend have a manual cost per click bidding at the start. Number one, you control your bids. And then number two is, when you are wasting money on irrelevant searches, it's not like $50 a click. It will be like $5, and you clean that out. So then you're in more control at the start, getting cleaner, pure traffic through. And then because the traffic's cleaner, the probability of getting conversions gets better. Then you click over a threshold of getting conversions, and then you can move it over to a target CPA model. So that's rather me harping on more and more. What are your thoughts? I know you think the same as me, but we're having a conversation here.
Well, actually, I wanted to touch back on the account level versus the campaign level, because I know it's funny. It's kind of like this curve that happens when you start working and say you do Google Ads for the first time. You sort of hear that well, it is technically at or you think it's at the campaign level, just because you wouldn't think, okay, it's held at, let's say, the pixel level, like for that conversion action, whatever. You just think about it very logically. Like, it seems to be, it's a new campaign. There's a lot of data inside of this campaign. And then you progress, and then you realize, okay, well, technically the documentation says it's, I guess a way to summarize it, at the account level. But again, more like conversion action based products, etc. But then later in your career, as you develop past that, you get to that point, you're like, okay, yeah, technically, yes, it is held at those higher levels. But in terms of what I see day to day performance wise, if you were to go into it and launch a new campaign and go, man, we got tons of data. We've got, at least 50 conversions easily on a rolling 30-day basis for most of our products, for everything we've got going on in the account. There's a lot of conversions. Let's just do smart bidding. Why waste the time and do all that management with manual bidding? And what happens? You turn on smart bidding, let's say something more conservative, like a cost per acquisition target CPA, and it just doesn't really serve. Maybe day one it spikes up, maybe it takes up all your remarketing or whatever, and it spikes up, tries something, and then slowly dies, or just never, more often, just never really takes off, right? Because it doesn't have the confidence in whatever that new targeting is. So to be really specific, search campaigns, and we were starting to talk about this at the start of the call. I think search campaigns are kind of a unique beast in that you might find with standard shopping, and obviously Performance Max, you don't get the option to go manual, but those are going to be products, right? You are advertising a product. Yes, it is still at its core search query based. It's Google advertising, it's Microsoft advertising, sure, but it is mostly about whatever that product is, right? Where search doesn't as heavily rely outside of DSA on the product itself, right? So it doesn't have as much to work with as something like the shopping network, Performance Max. Let's assume you're doing Performance Max for shopping and not the whole everything in there, search, display, etc. Right? So I think inherently, if you were to start a search campaign and you assume I've got tons of conversions, let's start it with smart bidding, you're gonna be not very happy with the results because it doesn't have the conversions for the keywords that you are targeting. And I think that's the biggest difference, because you are telling it not here's the products, now match the queries to the products based on what's in the feed. You're saying here's the keywords and here's the landing pages, you figure it out. There's less to work with. I think it just has a harder time. It's almost like it has to start fresh. This isn't 100% of the time, guys. So obviously I get it. There are exceptions, but more often you're going to want to start with manual for those reasons.
Yeah. You just always want to have more control, especially on the search network, which has the most expensive cost per clicks. Like if you're investing the most there, you need to have the most control.
Yeah.
Like you just don't VCs and huge private investment firms don't deploy heaps of capital and just go, oh, we're going to do less less due diligence. It's like if they're deploying 10K into a business, they're going to be like, we don't care, it's 10K. But if they're deploying $100 million, they're going to do a lot more, put a lot more barriers up there. And that's the same with the search. You need to ensure that you have more awareness and more control. And as we're saying is do not trust that even when you're building out a new campaign. I was building out a new account yesterday, and from the ground, I'm like, well, this is really hard to do because I could do it in editor, but the settings that I was looking for, I had to be I couldn't even find them. And then there was a button that was not even a button. It was text that was gray, on gray, gray text on gray. And I was like, whoa, it's there. And it's like, this was crazy. So even the user experience and the guidance of this now is so against it, where it's not like it's a binary choice. Do you want red or blue? It's like red, and blue is just a little dot pixel over there.
And you have to look for it. Yeah.
So the conditioning of business owners or new advertisers are, well, these are the only options. So what am I? It's like, no, these are not your only options. There's other options here, but why are they hiding this one? It's very conspiratorial.
You know what? This is maybe this is a whole new segment, but this actually brings me to something that came up recently around AI Max and a client being interested because they got a newsletter, because they're on a lot of newsletters. I'm hearing all these great things about these unique features to AI Max, the search AI Max campaigns. And you and I covered this months ago when it first came out.
Yeah.
And we both said, you know what? I'm not seeing anything, because we know this stuff in our bones. I mean, we know the settings, we know everything in there. We're like, I don't see anything that's a unique offering or a unique value. So why am I going to use this, right? And the answer is this product in its current state, as of August 2025, I don't see enough conclusive evidence that it has unique value that by using that over a standard search campaign mixed with other campaign types is going to offer me something dramatically more or better.
Yep.
And that's just where it is right now. So, and that's, sort of the reason that you have agencies like ourselves or experts that you consult with to say, I hear this shiny new object, this new product that Google's putting out and really promoting heavily, because Google also wants a lot of data to test this new product and maybe to get it better, right? But we have to be the experts to say, you know what? Nothing here is unique, and everything that actually is appearing to be unique to this product is already being done in other ways, right? So we're talking like expanded headlines that have more characters than others. We have other ways of doing that. Expanded, landing page expansion. We have ways of doing that. To me, just to put it in one thing, AI Max in its current state doesn't have anything more unique or more valuable than what you can achieve elsewhere, but you have to customize it. You have to do that yourself. And you'll have more control that way, which, going back to your point earlier, that's what you're trying to go for. You want control. You want to be able to grow the account with that control. AI Max, for me, it seems like it's just another product that was built for newer advertisers or less experienced advertisers that want kind of like that push button, like easy, create the campaign, and it has all the settings default that maybe are good enough. But I don't have the time to customize it, or I just don't know that I could have achieved this in an actually more beneficial way that's more custom and et cetera, et cetera. So I think you get the idea. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, once again, coming down to the fundamentals of these products, is Google fundamentally now is a mass market marketing platform. I don't know if the word's marketing, aka visibility, not profitability or revenue ability. Our work, why people are paying us, is to get results. None of the Google, in terms of outcome-based results, revenue, leads, sales, none of the Google marketing material around any of these products talk about results. I've just Googled AI Max Google Ads. The meta description on the listing is AI Max for search campaigns helps you capture new search opportunities. That's not an outcome. And show users relevant content based on their interests. I've put into ChatGPT, here are the new features of AI Max. It's like AI-driven asset mixing, audience targeting, final URL expansion, search term insights. But none of these are talking about performance or outcome. Performance being revenue or leads, an increase of those at a lower cost per acquisition. It's just like be seen more. But that is very extremely, look, it's not misleading. That's their company. If they're going in that direction, that's what they're offering. This actually objects to the offering. It's that you and I and a lot of other people have worked with Google Ads when it was the direct response sniper, like get a click, get a lead, get a click, get a sale. And that's what people see Google Ads as and know it as and want it as. But now it's just like, no, we're just going to be more of like the everything to everyone. Like, yeah, you may get some sales, but you're also going to be seen. Like, you just plug in your website and you're just seen across the internet. Now, that actually isn't that bad. But for most businesses, literally 99% of businesses, they don't want that. Like, they think that sounds good, but the desire of the outcome of the day is more leads, more clients, more sales,
more profitability.
These products are not aligned with that. Or if they do, they go, yeah, but how are people going to be, become a lead or a sale if they don't know your business first? And it's like, dude, we never needed this. We just needed that one step beforehand. This is all we've needed. But there's only so much of the market that does that one step before. So it's like, how do we get earlier on in this funnel where people are in their awareness phase or the demand generation phase rather than the actual proactive search? Because as random marketers will say, only about 3% of people are proactively looking for a solution right now. The other 97% are either problem aware but not doing anything, or problem unaware. This is trying to capture that 97% of the market. But why would you be putting your money into 90% of the market who are not going to want to take action now? Like, you don't need that. So with AI Max and these settings, they're set up for that mass market marketing rather than the direct response result. We're here as advertisers to get clients results now.
Right.
Like, if they needed all this creative stuff, they would go to a creative agency, and those creative agencies would not be doing Google Ads AI Max. They would be doing other things.
Yeah.
Meta ads branding, and that's fair. Like the meta ads branding
Yeah.
stuff, I'm all for that. I'm like, but Google ads is not the Google Ads suite is not a branding place. Maybe YouTube ads, but definitely not display ads. That's just like full scam. And what are some of the other placements? Gmail ads,
Oh
Discover, Maps,
boy.
and Shopping. Like shopping and search are supposed to be more direct response. Someone looks now, clicks through, takes action now. YouTube can be branding. YouTube for direct response, like getting a result now, very hard,
Yeah.
but and people are paid a lot of money and still don't do that well. So treat YouTube as brand, and that's fine.
Mhm.
But don't treat the Google Ads suite now as brand, because the majority of the revenue that Google makes, I'd assume, is from search and shopping. But they want it to be all these other channels so they can justify that it's a broad market strategy. So look, that's my rant on it. I think
Yeah.
Google's intention now is to be looked at as a broad market channel, and
Mhm.
they're offering broad market solutions. But then like now everyone should do it rather than going like these. Every business wants results from Google Ads, not
Right.
to be seen. It's like,
Right.
lastly, it's like that client who you get maybe one every 300 clients who's like, I just want to be seen number one. And they're like, I don't care about results, just number one. That's like Google's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's the person. We're trying to treat everyone like that one out of 300, like business owner who knows nothing about data and results. Like, I just want to be number one. I'll
Yeah.
be hit base high. And then like, why are we getting less traffic? Because like we're bidding number one. And why are we getting
Yeah.
results? Because we're just bidding one on one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No, look, I get the logic. It's very
mm,
logical from Google. I mean, it also is I don't know want to get into conspiratorial stuff, but it's very logical to think, pick up incremental conversions. They've been preaching this forever. You're missing out on people not seeing you during that buying funnel, right? In those upper funnels you were talking about. Problem is these search engines are inherently, I have a question or I want to look for something. I'm already aware of what it is I'm looking for. All right, let's figure it out. Google, like you said, has tried to expand this to this sort of unconscious buying part, right? So this is what we've talked about on the meta side, the social media advertising side. This is more like unconscious marketing. It's trying to get
yeah,
into the minds of people that show in the data to some degree they might eventually be interested in this type of product or the things that we offer. Let's get into the minds of these people along the way. Google's trying to join into that, right? They're like, you know what, we're losing a lot of market share in terms of advertising dollars to Meta and these types of companies. How can we regain some of that market share?
yeah,
I mean, we have all this data, let's try to use it. And to your point, outbound display, right? Using the display network to do outbound kind of content type marketing, it tends to feel more like a scam than anything. Just in terms of just pure, not that it is, but it just the quality of the traffic is very bad. Now, obviously, you don't go into it if you're doing it correctly with the mindset you're going to be getting, hundreds of conversions every single day because you're targeting just the right placements. You're going into it with an idea that we are trying to warm up the funnel. We're trying to introduce people to the brand so that if they become interested or because they're showing some interest in this idea of something, eventually they'll maybe want to reach out and buy it. It's going to be a warmer lead for us at that point. Maybe that
you
means it's cheaper
you
or
do
we're
that
getting
on
higher
Meta,
conversion
man.
rates.
You do that on Meta,
That's
not
the
on
thing.
Google's display.
But that's the thing is there's a place for that. And at the end of the day, we are here to protect your marketing dollars. I really believe in that as professionals. We aren't just here to like know all the buttons. We're here to protect your money. We are here to say, you know what? You got to stop wasting money on this stuff, whether it's this group of search terms, whether it's this channel, whether it's doing something like an outbound display. Michael, how many times have you seen it where you take over an account, you audit an account, and they've just been spending thousands, tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars on some idea that outbound display or YouTube, it's generating leads. I'm pretty sure it is. We've had it going for so long. We think it's making a difference, but you don't see any data that supports that. That is part of our job, is to say we got to cut this or at least experiment with cutting it to see how that impacts things. And more often than not, we save you a bunch of money, and that is why you hire us. So go ahead, guys, give us a call because we are ready to save you some money. No, really, this is part of our job. It's part of our responsibilities. Protect your investment and make sure you're not wasting money. And that is my take on AI Max. I just don't think it's at that point where I want to even experiment with my clients' money on something like that. I just don't see it being a unique value add at this point.
Yeah.
That may change, and I hope it does.
Well, there's once again the fundamental flaw is it does not have enough data on the. It's still in beta, so it's like a broken product. Beta does not mean like it's new. It means it's broken and it's full of bugs. And secondly, it doesn't have enough data. Like really, probably you need so many data points, like outcome-based data points, to enrich it enough. And once again, we don't know how it's programmed in the back end. We actually don't know if it's actually like, and nothing of the documentation or marketing material is talking about getting results. So even if you have 1 million sales and 1 million conversions, it may put that third to just impressions on display network.
Yeah.
Like, who decides the hierarchy of what's been focused on? And none of the documentations or marketing material talks about outcomes. We're here to get outcomes. Like, we've got to stop messing around. So
That's exactly it.